Hello, it's me, Melvin Webb. Welcome to the Capital Real Estate Podcast. I have my great friend Dylan Dobbs here. How you doing, Dylan?
Good. How are you, Melvin?
I'm doing well, man. Well, thank you for taking time out, man, out of your busy schedule and actually joining the show, man. So, Dylan, let me ask you this, man. So, we're just gonna jump right into this, man. How has it been? How has the experience been with working with Melvin Webb with Capital Real Estate, man?
Oh, we keep it pretty lively. Always have good conversation. Not always business related, but I think we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. I
Yeah,
think.
it sure have. hmm
And
You know, to be quite honest with you, man, in this business, and as I know, it's a challenging business at times. So we really just have to be transparent with one another, be honest, have some integrity, good character, man. Just be genuine, and it flows, you know. Um, it's been a business that's been lucrative for myself and my business. So I'm sure you probably can attest for that as well, right?
oh yeah, no, I've got some people that I work with. On the occasion they're newer, so they kind of see.
Right.
They got to go through these tough conversations with people, and things just don't really click. And I think one time I was talking to you, and he was like, "Man, that sounds like a good guy to be working with." And I was like, "Man, after a while, you get to pick and choose who you do business with."
That's true.
And
That's true.
once you get someone good, you definitely want to
That's true.
keep
That's
it good
true.
with them, and ultimately that'll lead you to more success later down the road.
So do you recall, man, when we first met?
Yeah, so I actually I had this house in I think it was South Dallas. I remember it was on Old Oak or Old Ox, and I seen you had done, I think, probably 3 or 4 transactions in that neighborhood, and I was sort of newer to all this, and I just called you out of the blue, saw that you did some business over there, gave you a ring and said, hey, I got this house over here. I can't remember if it was if you were doing the projects over there or not, but I knew that you were the listing agent for some houses that looked like renovations. So gave you a ring, told you about the house, and I think we met the next day, and we ended up doing the deal fairly quickly. I think, if I remember correctly, that was about 4.5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Time's flying, man. That's true. I'm going to ask you this. Um, can you describe how has it been for you since you've been doing this type of work, this type of business, like wholesales? Because you do wholesaling, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
How has
Can you
it been
describe?
like?
Yeah. Can you describe wholesale?
Yeah. I mean, it's basically like the explanation of all of it.
hmm
So you just go in and, well, not just go in. Obviously, there's some things that goes along with that, but the goal is to find a contract with a seller or somebody selling a house, and then ultimately getting it under contract with your knowledge on what the numbers are. I think having a better idea of what rehab cost is, makes that a lot easier, because you're really just going off of what that particular market buyers purchase houses at.
Yeah.
So at that point, obviously, you have to negotiate it lower than what you think you can sell it for. So going in anticipating that, hey, I'm probably going to be offering a little bit lower than maybe what a traditional investor would. But you got to find the ways to communicate with that seller to ultimately achieve their problem that they have, because it's not all just, oh, hey, you're selling this house for this price. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I can pay it for. We'll get this under contract, written up, signed, and sent over to title, and it'll be smooth as can
Yeah.
be. Because
Yeah.
then you got the second job, which is now you got to go find somebody to purchase that from you, and ultimately you got to find someone that you can trust or know that's going to close on it, because ultimately your reputation's on the line with the seller, and you don't want to tarnish that, because you don't know how many other houses that they have, you don't know who they know, and you always want to do things clean anyways. Uh, but yeah, that's in the essence of what it is that you're dealing with.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect, man. I tell you, I look at things so different since I've been in this business. It's like what 20 plus years for me. So it's been a long time, man. But you know what? I always find something new.
Oh yeah.
It's nothing new under the sun. It's something always new. So it's challenging to me, at times that it makes it it could be beneficial. It could be sometime weary because you can run into the wrong fit. And when I say the wrong fit, you can think you got a good deal and find out at the end, man, it's not a really good transaction. But, I want to ask you this. Can you describe to everyone, the viewers, what is the potential that you can possibly make as being an investor? Because you're an investor yourself, right?
Correct.
Right. The potential income that can be made if you desire to want to get involved with wholesales as well as being a real estate investor. Can you describe that for everybody?
Yeah, I think ultimately in real estate, the key is to just get as many leads as possible to purchase, whether a wholesaler or a real estate investor. But I'm sure you see a bunch of gurus out there. I mean, you can make millions doing it. As long as you have the right system set up, you have the right team set up. Obviously it takes some time to get all those things put into place, but you can make a good amount doing this, no matter what you do, as long as you just perfect whatever system that it is, whether it's the wholesaling or buying through wholesalers or whatever it is. If a deal's a deal, and you just got to
Absolutely.
know when the deal is a deal. And that's
Absolutely.
ultimately the skill that you're trying to
Absolutely.
accomplish, whether you're a wholesaler or an investor.
Got it.
And some people, they miss out on deals just because they just don't know how to analyze it. And I've seen plenty of times. I've now looking back on it, see what they sell for. Oh dang, I undersold that. They
Yeah.
sold that
Yeah.
for a lot
Yeah.
higher than what I
Yeah.
thought.
Hmm.
And the guy that passed on it, he was negotiating with me, and he just missed out on
Yeah.
150 grand. And sometimes those
Man,
could be fun conversations, reaching back out and be like, "Hey, did you see that?"
yeah. 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 Man, I can tell you this. When I first met you, you was new into it, and I've watched you grown over the years. And it's been impressive to me because in this business, I've seen it go the other way just as well, where people got in and really didn't practice the principle of the business. In other words, there are certain laws that you got to do when you actually get involved in this business. One, you got to do whatever it is that you say you're going to do. Have some integrity, man. Have some good character about yourself, and continually to hustle. Put the grind down. I mean, nothing comes for free. And if it does, and I know it could be some attachment with that. But just grinding, really getting out there, getting involved, um, finding a way uh, to create content, to be able to get leads from people like what you do, like people that might be in a distressed situation that really just ready to walk away from the home and really take a quick cash deal. So with my experience, starting back when I actually got into the real estate, I was just an actual regular realtor. I was finding my way. Didn't really know the business at all, but just from a previous gentleman that I actually did business with in the past when I first started, purchased my first home, and I kind of watched him grow. He kind of grew. He grew so fast, man. I said, you know what, man? I said, I want to do what you're doing, and I said it, but really, I didn't really actually believe it. I'm just being honest, y'all. I didn't really believe it, but it's power in the words, man, what you speak, man. And I said it, and I found myself inquiring about it when I got into sales. And so when I got into sales, I watched my income continue to grow because of the commission. But the commission just didn't drop in my lap. I had to do some sales. I had to literally sell some stuff. But I noticed there was no cap on how much income I could make. As long as I was selling, my income continued to go up, up, up. So I was with three other guys, and I'm not going to call their name because they didn't do it. But I was the only one that decided that I wanted to get into to a real estate business when I was doing sales at that time. And I told them, I said, once I get into the real estate business, it's going to look like I took a couple of steps backwards. Uh, but in essence, I'm actually going forward because I can see the potential. Only different is it's the same music, but a different dance partner. So that's all it was basically, I was basically trying to describe to them. So I ended up getting into the real estate school, man, and finishing that thing up. And the first year, not knowing anything, man, I did pretty good for myself. I did pretty well. I literally almost made six-figure income the very first year. And then from that time, the second year, you start kind of thinking you big stuff now, and I did well, but I didn't do as well as I did the first year. Then that third year, I stepped it up a notch because I started to grow. And I started to do things different than I did the first year. I started doing more marketing. And so when I started doing more marketing, I noticed my income continued to grow as well. So from that point on, man, I started getting into the investment. And once I got into the investment, man, the sky was the limit at that time. So it was so important to find people like yourself that can help me find deals that I could not find. And to have someone to bring it to me and say, hey, Melvin, I have something for you. If the numbers work, let's jump on it. So that's the gravy about it. It's putting those things together that way. So I love it, man. That's my little story I wanted to share with you on that.
So you would say about the third year mark was about where you kind of
yes, sir,
started going up in a way.
I started going up that third year.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna add to this. That third year, I think that's the year that the Chrysler 300 came out. And it looked like a Bentley, right?
Yeah.
So, man, I wanted to buy me a Bentley, but I couldn't afford that Bentley, the real Bentley. Yeah. But I got the Chrysler 300. So I went out and purchased the 300, right? And I thought about it after I bought the 300. I said, oh, man, I got to pay for this car, man.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, man, I really got to work hard. But really, just because I did that really motivated me and inspired me to get out and work harder, because at the end of the day, those payments ain't going to get paid by themselves. So I had to get out there and do things that I wasn't doing prior. And I was like, okay, man, I got to pay for this this Bentley.
Yeah, that's backing yourself up to the wall.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, you definitely want to be in that fight mode, backs up
against
the wall. You can only go one way.
Yeah.
To get out of it. So yeah, especially if you got something
absolutely. So Dylan, let me ask you this: what can you share with us a good reason why someone would work with Capital Real Estate Professionals?
A good reason?
A good reason.
Well, I think as we mentioned earlier, transparency and communication is very key from what I've found as well. And the biggest thing with real estate is they can be very discouraging.
Yes.
So it's not always easy. And you always need somebody as a mentor, or somebody that's just going to answer the phone to answer any questions that you may have or concerns, or get through a situation. And that's ultimately, as an agent, or whatever you're trying to do in real estate, that you ultimately want. And that's the only way that you get things across the finish line, is just to solve problems. Is ultimately comes down to. And so, working with you personally, I've done it. It's been great. Anytime you call, I call as soon as I can, and vice versa. Because we're all trying to get to the ultimate goal, and that's to close the deal and to do it successfully, so that we can get repeat business and the ways from doing it successfully. When people see that you do something good, they want to come back, right?
That's true.
And I think that's kind of what happened with us in the beginning. When I met you, we did good business, and then it was like, all right, let's do the next one. And
right.
It happened again, and it was like, all right, let's do the next one. And so, ultimately, that's what I would say the benefit with you and your team is.
So I got a question for you. All right. Now, I want all the viewers to know this is not scripted. If he's not giving me the answers that I'm looking for, I'm okay with it, because I'm going to put it out there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you this, Dylan. Since you've been working with me, have you seen your income increased drastically, or has it diminished drastically?
Oh yeah, I mean, you're probably top 5 people that I work with. Um, and that's saying a lot because I do a lot of transactions, and I remember I do a lot of training with new agents that come in, and a lot of times I'll sit there and go through the transactions, and they'll be like, "Well, how did you get that one?" And then I'll be like, "Melvin." "Well, how did you get that one?" "Melvin." And then I'm like, "Well, you sold that one. Who was that?" And I'm like, "Melvin." And so he's like, "Well, he's doing both sides." Like, yeah, I mean, you work good together, and that's ultimately what you want to do. You just want to do business with people that you enjoy doing business with. Uh,
That's
and
good.
so,
That's great. That's great. What you're describing is that even though I'm a realtor and an investor, basically what Dylan is saying is this: even though I get wholesale deals from Dylan, it works both ways. Transactions that I may get, or should I use the word, uh, homes that are distressed that someone needs out of it relatively pretty fast. If it's something that I probably wouldn't pursue at the time for whatever apparent reason, I will call Dylan up and I'd say, "Hey, Dylan, we're going to reverse roles here. I'm typically, you normally be the one that send them to me, but I'm going to send them to you." So that's basically what Dylan is stating, that we reverse roles at time. I have some properties hit my hands, and all of a sudden, actually, I call Dylan up, say, "Dylan, I got something for you, man." And if the numbers work, then it works for everybody.
yeah,
So that's a 1-2 punch, isn't it?
yeah. Well, real estate's all about timing too, right?
Yeah,
You
that's
might
timing.
have someone, and I've
Yeah,
got something, and you got something, and
yeah,
I got someone.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
you just need to find those mutual relationships for sure.
What advice would you give to someone that wanted to get involved with wholesales?
Uh, just know that things take a minute, and it's not going to happen, the first month, 2 months. I think the first transaction that I did took me 4 to 6 months, somewhere in there, to actually complete one.
Hmm.
And just like you had mentioned, it took you the third year to really get
Yeah.
ramped.
Hmm.
It took me
Hmm.
the same amount. I mean, I think I made under 100,000 my first 2 years,
Hmm.
and then the third year was just boom, right to the ceiling.
Yes, sir.
And that just comes with the consistency of grinding, and you really have to nurture relationships to get to that point, because on your third year you've probably networked with, let's just say, we'll just use you as an example. It's funny because in the beginning, when I met you, people in the office were like, "I need a Melvin." You know what I mean? And that's what you need. You need a Melvin. You need
Right,
someone to
right,
consistently
right.
do business with, so that you can just pick up the phone at some random time in the day and him say, "Hey, I got this deal." While on top of, the snowball effect of you working to get other relationships and other deals, and then it just starts compounding over time. So the struggle in the beginning is the tough part. And then as
Absolutely.
long as you can just stick
Absolutely.
through it and just know that you're doing things every
Absolutely.
day to get to the ultimate goal that you want, eventually you might not see it, but it'll be there, and the light will
Absolutely.
shine at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, sir. Well, Dylan, man, I want to appreciate you taking time out, man, out of your busy schedule to sit down with Melvin, of Capital Real Estate Professionals, and share your insights, man, and all the business that you've done with me, with Capital Real Estate. And also, it's been awesome working with you, and I continue to want to work and just continue to grow. So, man, we're going to end it here, and I hope all the viewers that actually is tuned in has gotten some type of benefits from listening and getting your insight, and as well as myself. It's a 1-2 punch, man, in this
It is.
business, and we just want to share all type of information to viewers that really want to reach out to us and see if it's something that we can help them with. Hey, Dylan, thank you,
Yeah,
man, and I
absolutely.
look forward to talking and seeing you soon.
Yeah,
Have a good
thanks
one.
for the invite.
You're
All
welcome.
right.